Coming up today on Love My Body, Love Myself is Dr. Vikki Johnson, and it's all about soul wealth. So stick around. Hello, and welcome to this episode of Love My Body, Love Myself. I am your host, Alicia Couri. Welcome to those of you who are watching on YouTube. Thank you so much. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and subscribe to our channel and give us a thumbs up. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Welcome those of you who are watching on Facebook. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining us. If you are watching on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitch, please join our community over on Facebook. We are endeavoring to impact 100,000 people with this show, 100,000 women in particular with this show. So come on over and join us on Facebook. And here is the link. It's facebook.com/groups/LMBLM. And that's for Love My Body, Love Myself. We're going to have a lot of content coming into that group in the new year. So come on over and join us. Also, if you haven't yet, why haven't you subscribed to our YouTube channel? Go on over and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/c/Alicia Couri. And we've got a lot of content there, including other episodes of this show. If you've missed them and you want to catch up on some of them, go on over to our playlist. It's Love My Body, Love Myself playlist on YouTube, as well as some other really great content on that YouTube channel. So don't forget to give us a thumbs up, give us a like, and leave a comment. You know, when we watch, I read those comments and I reply to those comments, and I would love to hear from you if this show has impacted you in any way, if any of the shows have encouraged you in any way or impacted you in any way. Please leave a comment, and also go ahead and share it out with a friend who you believe needs to hear this. So, you know, I always say grab a glass of wine, grab a cup of coffee, whatever it is that you enjoy, grab it and grab a friend and share this show with them. So I really encourage you to leave a comment and share it out with someone that you think could benefit from this show. If you would like to follow me or connect with me, go to alicia360.com. You'll be able to connect with me on any of my social media, any of the social media platforms that I'm on through that link. You can also text me, WhatsApp me, connect with me there and let me know if this content is really speaking to you, or if maybe you would like to be a guest on the show. If you have a story or you're an expert in some area of women's health that you'd like to share, or like I said, if you've gone through something and you want to share, or if you're going through something and you'd like to share it with the community to get help. If there's something that you're going through and you want to get help from our many experts that are in the community, please, drop me a line, connect with me, go to Alicia360 and connect with me. And I would like to also let you know that this interview is pre-recorded. So we may not respond to your comments right away, but I will go back and read all your comments and respond to them. So go ahead and leave comments for us. You can follow me on Instagram. If you don't want to go to the 360.com site, you can just go to Instagram and you can follow me on Instagram. It's the Alicia Couri or Audacious Confidence, and you can find me there on Instagram. So I am super excited for my guest today, and my guest is going to talk all about soul wealth. This is Dr. Vikki Johnson. I've known Vikki for many, many years now. She is an incredible woman, and you're going to want to hear everything that she has to say in this interview. So go ahead and take it away, Alicia. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction, Alicia. And so let me tell you about the guest that we have today, because I'm super excited for her, because I have known this woman for some time now. She is an inspiration to me. From the first time I met her, I was completely inspired by her, and I would love to introduce you to Miss Vikki Johnson. So Vikki feels like self-love is a radical commitment that she made to herself. As a champion athlete, she knows the benefits of staying active. After the birth of her daughter, and now as a woman in her midlife season, she's learned to embrace the changes of her body and how some of them you can have an effect on, and some others you can't. You just have to embrace. She is a spiritual and emotional wellness. She has a spiritual and emotional wellness business called Soul Wealth LLC. And that is so that our lives can be as healthy as our emotions. And I'm super excited to have Vikki Johnson on the show with me today.
Hi, Alicia.
Hi. And I was recently interviewed by you on your podcast. So this is
I know,
really
right? So how
awesome.
perfect is that?
I know that we can swap
Yep.
on each other's platform.
Yep.
I I wanted to invite you to this discussion because as women of a certain age, so many times we feel like, oh my gosh, um, I'm going through so many changes, and how do I deal with all these things? And how have you kind of navigated that for yourself?
One moment at a time. And that has come from years, now decades of trial and error. Some things working, some things not. I don't necessarily classify any of my experiences as failures
Mm-hmm.
or mistakes anymore. They were lessons. And as you said, I'm grateful. I'm blessed to be 56 this year. So with that ought to come some experience, ought to come some wisdom, ought to come some insight, right? And growth and evolution. And so one moment at a time is how I've dealt, especially while we've been in this pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
which we're still in. That practice, that discipline of self-care has really been a tool to
Mm-hmm.
keep me healthy and grounded and grateful. So yeah, one moment at a time is how I've moved through what I'll call any challenging or difficult spaces in my life.
You have such a calming, like I'm all up here, even though I can be calm, but you're always like so smooth and so calm. I love it. Um,
I'm
Oprah,
excited. This
no,
is my
no, I'm not
excitement.
saying that you're not excited. I'm just saying that you're so always so smooth in your delivery. You're always
That's a combination of things. It's not even intentional. It's who I am.
Mhm.
And it's all of the other things that make me who I am, that make me this way. And I've just learned to embrace it. It's easier to be authentic and to be who I am than,
To try to
not. So, yeah.
Absolutely. I heard Oprah say years and years, decades ago, actually, when she turned 50, well, not decades, because when she turned 50, she had said that this is the best time of her life. Like,
Yeah, I remember that.
right? But she
Yep.
said, oh my gosh, I didn't know how good life was until I turned 50. And then
Yeah.
over 50, and how much you enjoy yourself. And Maya Angelou too had said that. She said, because you don't really care anymore about what other people think or say, that you are free to really be yourself. And have you experienced that?
Definitely. You hit this stride, right, in your 20s and then your 30s and then your 40s and then your 50s. And I would dare say, as you get closer to 60, that evolution, that elevation, it continues.
Mm.
And you become more and more who you are unapologetically. It's like a peeling away of all the things that you put on in your
Yeah.
teens and 20s and 30s trying to fit in. And then those lessons empower and equip you to start peeling stuff away, to say, no, this doesn't fit. Yes, this fits. No, this is not in alignment. Yes, this is in alignment. And this is who I am. And it's all about how we navigate the dash, right? Between our date of birth and the date that we leave this earth. It's all about navigating the dash and finding significance and feeling accomplished and, living in a place of fulfillment. And so that's the gift that we get to give ourselves. And, what I'm sure Love My Body, Love Myself is all about, even this stride that you and I talked about earlier, that you've just found your cadence. And when you do that, you just get up every day and you're grateful for another day, right? And you move through it wanting to just make sure that you maximize every single moment, that you can breathe on your own, that you can move on your own, that you can do
Yes.
things for yourself. I mean, really, it gets down to basics like that. And you realize that life really is what you make it, and that in every moment we live at choice. And if you don't like what happened a moment ago, moving forward, make a different choice that is in alignment with you, that feels good, that nourishes your soul. And that is what soul wealth is all about.
That is so true because, in your 20s, like you talked about the decades, in your 20s, when things happen, let's say in your teens, you think your world and your life is over, right? It's like, oh my God. But at this stage, you realize this is just another page in the book, not even a chapter. It's just another page, and we get to turn that page and make a different decision.
Yeah.
And it's so freeing when we can understand, and we come from that place of understanding. And I really I love being in my 50s now, because I really do feel so much more me, and than I've ever felt before, because I'm not trying to please anybody else at this stage in my life. Really not.
And that's where the freedom is. That's where the liberation is. It is in owning your identity, who you are, your authenticity, and really having the courage, Alicia, to embody those things that you know and that you've always known on some level, and walking that out. That's the beauty of this time in our lives, where we get to own that, and we get to embrace and enjoy who we are while we can. And for me personally, I'll say, this pandemic has really constrained me to check in, is what I want to say. Check in with me, check in with God, to make sure I am in alignment every single day. Psalm 119, when I really took this scripture to heart and really hid it in my heart, it became what I live by, one of the scriptures. And it simply says, great peace have they that love the law of God, and nothing shall offend thee. So that is where my temperament comes from. I endeavor every day to live in a place of great peace, because the way that I think and interpret scripture is that God would not have said it if it was not possible. So for me, I'm like, okay, God, you said it, then we're going to do it, because you said I can do all things, through Christ who strengthens me.
Yeah.
And that is how I move through this life, with courage, right? With compassion for other people, with clarity, really clear. Yes, I want to do that. No, I don't want to do that. And when you live a life of that kind of peace, I believe it contributes also to your longevity, and also to your ability to impact other people and to leave them better than you found them.
For me, the no's get easier. when you have that kind of clarity, the saying
Yeah.
no gets easier to
Yeah.
do when you know, and when you know your runway is shorter ahead of you than behind you, and then
Absolutely.
the things you need to do, you want to make sure that they matter, that those
Absolutely.
things matter more. And back to the simple things of gratitude. When I run for 7 minutes in the mornings, and so just the ability at 52 to be able to run, because there are so many people that at this age and at this stage of their lives, they cannot run. And so I appreciate when I'm able to strap on my sneakers and go for a run every single day. So I am in gratitude for that I can get up, I can walk on my own, I can run on my own, because there are some people that cannot still do that. So I love that gratitude piece too.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just thinking that the other day. I'm like, I am so fortunate that I get to do this. Instead of, I used to gripe and complain about having to do it. I said, sneakers and this running.
Yeah, it's a blessing, right? To
It
be
is a
able
blessing.
to do that on your own, in your own strength, without any assistance, and even this pandemic, I go back to it because it's so top of mind for us. It's in our faces, even though many of us have what is now termed COVID fatigue, right? And some are
And Zoom
choosing
fatigue.
to act like it's not he's still here, but it is. Um, but even young people who are losing capacity, right? Their health is diminished or diminishing, or they lost their health completely and their lives. So that's
Mm.
not lost on me, that every single day that we can get up and breathe on our own and
Take a
move
deep
on
breath.
our own,
Mhm.
it's a blessing.
Yeah. So I'm seeing so many people on ventilators and not being able to breathe. It is a blessing to have
Yeah.
the capacity to breathe on your own, and don't take those things for granted. So I'm going to take a quick break because I'm not going to
Okay.
take that for granted, and and thank the sponsor of the show. And when we come back, I want to talk about soul wealth.
Awesome.
The Love My Body, Love Myself show is sponsored by Alicia Couri Inc. and produced by Red Carpet CEO. Alicia Couri Inc. is a boutique consulting firm that specializes in developing audaciously proactive leaders and teams using brain science and people data to get results. For more information, you can visit our website, aliciacouri.com. The show is produced by Red Carpet CEO. If you would like a copy of Age with Audacious Confidence, please go to our link tree, which is linktr.ee/acoury, and look for Age with Audacious Confidence. So let's go on and get back to the show. Welcome back. I am here with Dr. Vicki Johnson of Soul Wealth LLC, and I wanted to dig in a little bit about soul wealth, what that is, how do you connect your spirit, soul, and body, because this is about loving your body, loving yourself, and having soul wealth is a part of loving yourself. So, how did soul wealth, where did soul wealth come from? And let's dig into that a little bit.
Yeah, so in 2014, December 2014 to be exact, I did a TED Talk on the power of sacred sisterhood. And when I was preparing for the TED Talk, what came to me just as I was in meditation, when women connect, collaborate, and create community, the result is soul wealth. And immediately, as a woman of faith, I connected that to 3rd John in scripture, where God says, I desire that you prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers. And being the critical thinker that I am, just taking that further, sitting with it, meditating, the clarity that I got is that our lives can only be as healthy as our emotions, because our soul is the seat of our emotions. And that is where the journey began. Then I was able to evolve, this work of soul wealth. And it has 5 tenets: vision, compassion, authenticity, abundance, and legacy. First, in your own life, you have to manifest those things. You have to have a vision. You have to have compassion. You have to be authentic, which unlocks your abundance. And then that allows you to create a legacy that you will leave. And my goal now is to help other women live their legacy, not just leave one, not work, and then build a legacy and you leave it and somebody else enjoy it. But now the power is to embody your purpose and then live your legacy, right? Live it right on from this life into the next one. And so I have a Soul Wealth Academy. I have a book called Soul Wealth, which was released in August of 2019. I have gear, shirts, hats, candles. Soul Wealth is a way of being. It's a lifestyle. And then I have a daily radio show called the Soul Wealth Radio Show, of which you were one of my guests. Thank you again.
Thank
And
you.
that airs daily. And then it's a podcast. So it's available. The replays are available on my website, VikkiJohnson.com, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast.
It's right there, VikkiJohnson.com.
So check it out. It's a 30-minute conversation, wealthy conversations that nurture the soul. And I'm so grateful to now have had the privilege to have wealthy conversations with over 200 people. And now I'm going after 300. And so that's the legacy of Soul Wealth that I am currently living, where I'm also mentoring other women leaders and visionaries who are building their own brands and tribes and communities and businesses and rebuilding their lives. So it's my passion, it's my purpose, it's who I am. And I'm so grateful to have been the vessel, to be the vessel through which the earth gets flooded with soul wealth, which again is vision, compassion, authenticity, abundance, and legacy. You want to have that first, fill up your cup, and then from your overflow, pour that out into the world to speak life to other people.
So there are two things that you said that I want to touch on. The first thing is 3 John 2, which is really also the scripture that birthed this show. Which is
Awesome.
so interesting because I kept feeling as well, that your soul needs to prosper, which is that love of yourself as well, because your mind, your body, and your spirit have to be connected, and be in alignment. And if your spirit is prospering, but you're not, you don't have self-love, or you don't love your body, and you're not really embracing all of you, your spirit, soul, and body, then how can you be prosperous?
Right.
And so there was so much, when you said that, I felt the alignment immediately. I'm like, yay! That soul wealth is aligned with also this message, which is why I felt compelled to invite you to be on the show.
Thank you
And
again.
you're very welcome. And then as you were talking about, the 5 key areas: vision, compassion, authenticity, abundance, and legacy. Sometimes when you mentioned legacy, so many times we do that. We work to leave a legacy for someone else, but we don't live that legacy, and we don't show people how to live in that legacy. So a lot of times parents amass wealth, and um, they they leave it for the next generation, but they don't know how to handle that
Right.
because they haven't seen you really know how to. So they either blow it or they do something um, silly with it. It's in the teaching, not just of the gathering, but also let them see how you live in that wealth. Let them see how they can also continue to grow that wealth, but also enjoy it as you enjoy it. Because so many times too, kids say, "Oh well, I wish they spent more time with me instead of just working," or so it's striking that I hate using the word balance, but it is a recognition that the legacy is also nurturing them, not just amassing something
Absolutely. It's
for them.
also time,
Mm-hmm.
and legacy is not just money. It
Mm-hmm.
is what impact have you left? What good name
Yep.
have you left?
Right.
Right? What reputation have you left?
So many things
So
that go
it's
into
many,
that.
many things.
And then um, I also feel like a lot of these things you have, it's not a one time deal. Like these five pillars that you've outlined, you have to continue to grow and nurture and learn about it. For me, one of the legacy things that I've always tried to live when it kind of dawned on me, and it dawned on me by watching women, mothers in particular, who had passed away early
Mhm.
in their 40s, in their 30s, 40s, and 50s. And I had gone to their funerals or their going home service, whatever you want to call it. And the thing was, I would see like the same 3 to 5 pictures that they will cycle. Number one, that was one thing. The second thing was everybody that got up and spoke about them spoke about how much of a giver they were, that they would do anything for anybody, and they would you know if the kids came home with friends, they would feed everybody, and they were always doing, and they were always the one behind the camera, never the one taking pictures with the family. They were always the ones who were the ones taking the pictures, so there were never pictures of them. And as I heard that, one too many times, I thought women really need to understand how the legacy that you leave for your children, you need to be in those pictures too. Number one, you need to be in those photos. So many of us say, I don't like my picture taken. I don't want to be in, I don't like how I look in pictures. The picture's not for you. And
Right.
I've said this over and over again. It's not for you. It's part of your legacy that you leave, because when you go, when they're telling your grandchildren about you that were too young to know or were born after you were there are no pictures. There's
Right.
nothing to show them of who you were, only stories. The stories are great, but they would like to also see you in those stories. So this age, this digital age that we're in, you can capture so much now. Don't just be behind the camera. And the next thing is, don't deplete yourself. This is about loving yourself. Loving someone else. You have to love yourself and give from your overflow. Don't love yourself to depletion, which is why many of them probably left this earth too early, because they depleted themselves over and over again by giving. So can you talk into that a little bit about giving from your overflow instead of giving until you're dry?
Yeah, sure. So your capacity is for you. And frequently, as women, we're everything to everyone else. And we're tired, we're exhausted, we're resentful, we're angry, we're bitter, we're these things because we've spent so much energy and time taking care of everyone else that we put ourselves on the back burner. And what I share and encourage the women that I am privileged to serve, I encourage them to fill up yourself, tune into your body, listen to your body. When you've had enough, stop, refuel, get restored, rejuvenate, so that you can also enjoy your service, your serving, right? That's for you to participate as well. I think that historically, we've seen our mothers, grandmothers, great grandmothers, especially in the communities of color, where a lot of times those women were domestics,
Mm-hmm.
right? And just kind of always what do I want to say, stepping in the background and kind of disappearing and being invisible. And so, no, I'm like, show up big. Tony Jones, who does this new genre of music called affirmation music, she has this song called Take Up Space. I encourage women to be bold, be proud,
Be
be,
audacious.
be audacious, right? Be confident in who you are and nourish your soul as you are nurturing others.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do that, you can live a fulfilled life on a daily basis. That's not to say you don't have challenges and struggles and things like that, but you approach it differently. You don't live at the mercy of your life. You live understanding that in every moment we have a choice to make. We get to make a choice to
Oh, yeah.
create what we want to experience next. And so my my message is, what do you want? Get clear on that and then make choices that will help you and support you in manifesting that picture, that vision.
I love that. That stop, because so many times, well, no, I need to do that, and I need to, and I need to, and I have to finish, and I need to help that one. Not just stop for yourself and your own sake, but also allow other people to know where your timeout is.
Right.
You know, allow others to know, no, I need a break, I need a timeout, and then they can honor that. But if you don't tell them, they're not going to know by osmosis. They're not going to just know that, okay, she's getting a little snippy because she need a break. Let's back off. I
Right.
just came from a conference where I'm certified in Colby, and it was the annual conference, and they were talking about developing your own owner's manual. Like, develop, when you learn things about yourself, to like write it down. What makes you happy? What things you enjoy doing? What gifts and talents and stuff you have? But also, what frustrates you when people do, or what really brings you to your timeout point. And then let people know that. Let people in your life know, all right, this is how you can serve me. This is how I work best. This is how I don't work best. And start letting people in on these things so that they don't have to always play a guessing game with you. Um, well, guess what mood mom's in today? Can we ask or no? Let people know these things so that you have an opportunity to serve at your best, because you're not overworking yourself when they know. Because some people will even know when it's time, you need to go take a rest. No, we got this. Don't,
Right.
like I was telling you earlier about my son. I'm like, you could do this and let me do what I need to do here, and you could go ahead and take care of that, and then let
Right.
me come out and be able to enjoy dinner that you made, and and not wait for me to finish to come and eat late every night when I have work beyond 6 o'clock. So it's letting them do some of the work.
Yeah, and knowing when to step back to allow other people to step up. Sometimes people don't step up because we're doing everything.
Because they say, you got this, I don't
You
need
got
to.
it.
So you're not giving them a space to let their talents and gifts shine either, which is
Absolutely.
very selfish. I must say, it's very selfish, and we all think that we can do everything for our children too, but you have to allow them to grow and make mistakes as well, and be there to support them at certain times, because then they won't grow.
And a lot of times it's subconscious. We're not even aware that we're doing it, which is why conversations like this are so powerful, because it reminds us, hey, let me just check in. Am I doing that? Where am I doing that? And where can I make some minor adjustments to come into alignment with my passion, with my purpose, and with my power. And I also just want to say before, we close, is that rest is a very necessary part of self-love and self-care. You have to take time to pause and do nothing, because doing nothing is doing something that your body, your spirit, your emotions, your mind will thank you for.
Oh my gosh, I'm glad you said that. I had a guest before say that self care is your obligation. It's
Mm.
not selfish, it's your obligation. You are obligated to do that for yourself. Oh my goodness, we could talk for hours and hours and hours. But I want you
Easily.
all, yes, I want you all to go to Dr. Vicki Johnson's website. It's vickijohnson.com, and it's Vicki with two Ks, vickijohnson.com, to check out her podcast, all her resources, connect with her, find out more about soul wealth, and really live into that, because these purposes are aligned. It'll help you to love your body and love yourself. And again, the 5 pillars that she talked about was vision, compassion, authenticity, abundance, and legacy. Go join her community. Be a part of Soul Wealth. Thank you so much, Dr. Vicki. Is there
Thank
anything you
you.
want to share? Last words?
My last words are go out into the world. I say this at the end of my show every day. Live with passion, live on purpose, live with intention, live full so you can die empty. And I really mean that. You want to leave it all here. That's your
Yeah.
legacy. Thank you,
Thank you. I
Alicia. This is
love it.
amazing.
All right. Mwah, 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 mwah.
Bye.
Bye. Our sponsors for today, Alicia Couri Inc., that specializes in developing audaciously proactive leaders and teams using brain science and people data to get results. This show is produced by Red Carpet CEO. And our other sponsor is Dare to Lead with Linda. And her program is Awaken the Leader. If you would like to know more about Awaken the Leader, please go to bit.ly/ATL 2021-2 to find out more. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on Love My Body, Love Myself. And I want to encourage you to do something good, do something kind, do something nice for yourself this week. And always, always choose to love your body and love yourself. I'll see you next time. Mwah.